You may already know Dhonielle Clayton and Sona Charaipotra by their previous book, which is now a Netflix series, The Tiny Pretty Things. And I have a new book out called The Rumor Game. And it's an edge-of-your-seat social thriller. And I have both ladies here today with me to talk about that. Good morning, ladies. How are you?
Good morning. Great.
Morning.
So here's an interesting question. Tell us about the process of how the two of you are accomplished novelists and have come together to create a work of fiction.
So when we're working together, I am a plotter, and that's somebody who does outline the whole thing first before you dig in. And I sort of had to drag Dhonielle's kicking and screaming to that side of things. So we roadmap the whole book, the chapter by chapter outline, all the characters, all of that stuff before we dive into writing. And then we split characters and we split chapters, and then we edit each other so it feels cohesive in the end.
Now, has your success been influenced by your approach to the story of The Rumor Game?
I mean, I hope so. I mean, our approach is just to tell authentic stories and to center kids that are often left in the margins, and to make sure that we're honest about who they are, where they come from, and how their world influence their behavior. So like, all of our characters usually do something great and probably do something terrible. But we wanted to be honest about it, and we've gotten success because I think we're telling the truth about teenagers as they are, not how we want them to be as adults. And that resonates with young readers.
Tell us a little bit about The Rumor Game.
So the Rumor Game follows the track of a rumor from like the initial spark to all the twists and turns and the way it ends up in the end. And it sort of ignites a fire through the lives of these three girls at a cutthroat DC academy where they're the kids of politicians and celebrities. So it really talks about how social media shapes and influences who you are as a person, and how it sort of defines you to the rest of the world, whether you like it or not, like whether it's the truth or not. Does the truth even matter? That's sort of the root question of the book.
Now, what do you like about writing for a young adult audience?
It's the best thing in the world. I'm a former teacher and librarian, and so to be around students and kids and young readers is electrifying. And so getting to write stories that they can connect with, that they can fall in love with, is just a privilege. And I think that we both set out to write for the young person we were, and write stories that we didn't get to see ourselves centered in, these fun, high intense, full of drama thrillers that can really showcase what it means to be the people we were, but set in this big juicy story. And so it's so much fun to write for young people. I don't know, it's going to be really hard to write for adults because I love writing for them so much. They'll go down every rabbit hole with you, versus adults come in with a lot of opinions. Teens are open-minded. They have opinions too, but they'll go down the rabbit holes with you.
I like that. Dhonielle, you grew up outside the DC area. What if your own experience as a teen influenced the story?
Absolutely, yes. I grew up in Maryland, right outside of DC, and I went to school with a lot of kids whose parents worked in the government and who were involved in politics. So I saw how their lives and their mistakes echoed out and rippled out into their parents' lives. If they messed up at school or something bad happened, often their parent would find out because their jobs were high intense and politics were always involved. And I went to these private schools and taught at these private schools. So I really wanted to bring that sort of flavor in and draw from my own experience of seeing my friends in a pressure cooker because their parents worked in the White House or their parents worked in the government, and how it added a layer of anxiety to their everyday experience, and to the fact that if they made a mistake or they were flawed, it could ripple out and have big consequences for their family.
Now, ladies, what's next for each one of you, and is there another collaboration in the works?
For me, my next book is called How Maya Got Fierce. It's a YA contemporary that draws on my years as a journalist. I worked in magazines for more than 15 years, actually work in them still. And it's the bold type meets younger, where a 17-year-old girl gets her dream job at Fierce magazine, but her bosses think she's 26 and her parents don't know, and they'd be really mad if they found out. So high stakes.
And my next book comes out in May, and it's called The Marvelers, and it's the future of magic school. It's what happens when the children of the world all have magic and they come together to go to a magic school in the sky. Like, how do you build community from that? What kind of magic and hijinks come from it? And I'm really, really excited to share that with the world come May.
Wait a minute now. See, we really need that to happen so these teens can do something about climate change and what's happening in the world. We gotta make that really happen in real life, don't you think?
I think so, and I'll make sure that my characters start solving our climate crisis with weather magic, okay? I'll make sure that that's in the book so teens know what to do.
Ladies, thank you so much for joining us on Morning Blend and talking about the rumor game. Thank you again.
Thank you for having us.